Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And here we go again on another round, an episode of premature subpoena authorizations, brought to you by the Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee. Aside from the lack of specificity, the lack of a lot of things, and the lack of maybe a law school understanding of a subpoena, this is again another trek down an empty road. In the world of congressional oversight, today's markup makes absolutely no sense. First, we have the zero tolerance policy. This is an area where the chairman has sent one single request to the administration way back on January 11th, 6 months ago, and not a single follow-up request since. Nevertheless, since the administration has produced a steady stream of documents, the Department of Health and Human Services made a total of 20 productions, nearly one per week, for over 7,500 pages. Department of Homeland Security has made over 4 productions, including one earlier this week, amounting to over 3,300 pages, as you can see in the boxes beside me. The Department of Justice has provided 6 productions, totaling over 1,200 pages. In sum, the administration has voluntarily made 29 productions, totaling over 12,000 pages, yet the chairman, out of the blue and without a single formal follow-up, wants to issue subpoenas for more documents. Second, the chairman wants to issue a subpoena for information regarding the detention of children and families, and a subpoena for information about the discussions or offers of presidential pardons to DHS officials and employees. The chairman has only tangentially issued a document request regarding detention way back in January. A subpoena here is not only premature, but unjustified. The chairman has zero predicate for this markup today. Given this fact, I guess the chairman was telling the truth when he said during an earlier subpoena authorization, he views the subpoena as the beginning of a dialogue process. Third, the chairman wants to continue a subpoena binge and issue additional 12 subpoenas to individuals related to the Mueller investigation. The chairman has made no formal contacts with 3 of these individuals during his chairmanship, and the subpoena will in fact be, I guess as we've heard, the beginning of a dialogue process. Once again, I want to emphasize, the chairman has not sent even one written request to 3 of the individuals on this list we are authorizing. 4 of the individuals were part of the chairman's short-lived and now defunct investigation into the 81 Trump associates. Each of these individuals responded to the chairman, cooperated with his inquiry before that investigation seemingly has died on the vine. Incredibly, another one of these individuals has already received a subpoena from the chairman. He produced documents as well, but I guess the chairman is going to reward him with yet another subpoena, because apparently the first one wasn't good enough. I guess there wasn't enough dialogue. Again, the record is devoid of any basis for subpoena authorizations. At least the chairman is consistent. This is a pattern we have seen several times before. If you cooperate with him, you get a subpoena. If you ignore him, he'll leave you alone. In the world of congressional oversight, these subpoenas make no sense at all. But in the world of politics, today's markup makes perfect sense. When we left for the July 4th recess, my friends on the other side were reeling. They were having a very large and very public inter-party squabble over funding for humanitarian crisis at the border. The crisis this committee has repeatedly failed to address. Before we ever get back to town, however, we were greeted by the chairman's intention to go on a subpoena binge, attempting to change the narrative to focus on issues he hasn't touched for months, if at all. This is a very haphazard way of conducting congressional oversight. It's no wonder other committees have taken the lead on investigating the issues the chairman wants to focus on today. The Judiciary Committee, as it has been for months, is trying to play catch-up. For example, Chairman Cummings issued subpoenas to DHS, HHS, and DOJ regarding zero tolerance policy back in February, 5 months ago. HPSI has been consistently leading the way in regard to the Mueller investigation. One of today's subpoenas is for Michael Flynn, a person HPSI is close to bringing in after issuing him a subpoena last month. In addition, the chairman refused for months to review the lesser redacted Mueller report and held the Attorney General in contempt. Meanwhile, Adam Schiff cut a deal with the department and got access to the underlying documents. If the goal is truly to get information or testimony, our chair is failing. But as is repeatedly said, if the goal is to political theater, we're winning. Chairman Schiff also threatened to subpoena special counsel before the July break. He fulfilled his promise and in doing so forced the chairman's hand. Now, instead of having hearing where all of our members get to ask Robert Mueller questions, we're having our legs cut out from under us by limiting the questions. Not all Republican members will be able to ask questions, and not all Democrat members will be able to ask questions. This is an odd format, is the result of the chairman's not taking seriously this information and moving forward, and we're all here to suffer. In fact, let me just bring up, it's against House rules, but that's another problem we've never had a problem with here, it seems like, in the last 6.5 months. And the Democrat member of this committee are not happy about it. Today's subpoena binge is an effort to change the narrative. It's a show of force. It's a chance for the chairman to prove to his rank and file and the rest of the Democratic caucus that we can be tough on the Trump administration after being pushed around for 6 months. Today is a chance to show that we have what it takes and will not bow in the spotlight. However, the truth is at this point, next week, a hearing on one of the largest, most talked about investigations in 2 years, and this committee got rolled Intel Committee gets to ask all their questions. This committee does not. This committee gets to divide in the haves and the have-nots. We're all elected, both sides. This is a farce, especially when it flies in the face of a 5-minute rule that is conveniently being ignored. Here we go again, and as I've had to say for the past 6.5 months, let the show begin.